yesterday, everything was decided as Oldham Athletic find their way in to the EFL for the first time in a few seasons. And it'd be good to have them back in the EFL. A cracking club they really are. And the owner seems like a right character. And congratulations to Oldham. Unlucky to Southend. I was able to watch the second half of the game. And actually in the second half it seemed to really picked up. Unlucky to Southend. But well done to Oldham. They are in the EFL once again. Now, being a Grimsby fan, as we all know, guys, we have to do some travelling. And it's like saying having frequent flyer miles. And how can I put this? As in, boy, we're going to be travelling a lot this year. Obviously, it might be easy with some exiles. But if you're travelling from Grimsby Cleethorpes, I'm about to probably make people wonder, why do we do this to ourselves? I have literally put down the mileage and how many miles minimum and maximum to get to each ground. Now I have used Google Maps for this from my house. The reason why I've used it from my property, I'm not saying where I am, but because I'm only I'm not far from the football ground. But from Cleethorpes, basically this is. So we'll start with the first team. We'll obviously be travelling to Accrington Stanley this year, and that minimum is 126 miles away from us. So if you're travelling from Cleethorpes, you'll have to travel roughly 126 miles to get to Accrington, which equates to around about 2.5 hours. Not too bad. Not the worst, but 2.5 hours if you're travelling from the Grimsby Cleethorpes area to get to Accrington. We'll then go to probably one of the longer trips. I say longer. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Barnet. Now they are about 170 miles away. They are 3.5 hours away. We hope that's not a Tuesday night. Is all we can hope for that, especially if you're travelling from there. I know people sort of down in that area. We have got some fans down in that area. Obviously, it'd be a lot easier for them. But if you're travelling from the local area, it's 3.5 hours travel time. And obviously, if you can get on a coach and you do that. But yeah, 3.5 hours travel time. Next, Barrow, one of the most difficult grounds to get to. Generally, it's 207 miles away from the local area, which equates to 3 hours and 40 minutes. So nearly 4 hours to get to Barrow. Wow. When I looked at that, I thought, wow, I must be seeing things. If we go to Bristol Rovers as well, that's 208 miles away from the local area. You're having to travel 4 hours to get minimum to get to Bristol, whether that be on train or whether that be by car. You're talking 4 hours minimum to get over to Bristol. And I know a lot of fans will travel. I have no doubt with our fan base. But it's a minimum 4 hour journey. Um, for Bristol Rovers, we'll move on to Bromley, which again is in the suburb of London, in the borough of London. That in itself is another 4-hour journey from the local area. So if you're travelling from Grimsby Cleethorpes, you're looking at another 4-hour journey. The maximum mileage, if you're driving it, the minimum mileage is 191. The maximum mileage is 207. Bristol Rovers is 208. So, different area of the country, but roughly same distance. Cambridge, I've always said Cambridge, one of the nicest clubs I've been to. Staff, fantastic there. Stewards, fantastic. But the travelling, the minimum will be 115 miles. The maximum will be 138 miles. It equates basically to a 2-hour, 46-minute travel. Nearly 3 hours to get to Cambridge from the local area. Give or take a few minutes from whereabouts you are in the area. But I've took it roughly from where I live to give you a good idea. We then move on to Cheltenham. The minimum it would take is 168 miles to get to Cheltenham. The maximum is nearly 200 miles. And the actual time is, give or take, 3.5 hours. I say that because the exact time is 3 hours and 28 minutes, but literally 3.5 hours to get to Cheltenham. Like I said, I'd say it's like having frequent flyer miles. We need them going to these places. Chesterfield, one of the shorter. And I'll tell you why some of this is quite confusing. Not the shortest, but in distance as well, it actually is the shortest distance. So if you want to talk about Derby, which I don't agree in, this could be classed as the Derby. It actually will take 1 hour and 40 minutes from the local area, around about 130 to 140, 78 miles away for Chesterfield. So that's the first team that one way is less than 100 miles just to get to. So 1 hour 40 minutes from the local area to Chesterfield. Colchester, two things. Yes, the minimum is 156 miles. The maximum is nearly 200, 194 miles. The actual travel time from the local area, 3 hours and 34 minutes. So another 3.5 hours to go to Colchester. This is why I class ourselves as, well, we are one of the best fan bases in the country. Because you look at how far we're having to travel, especially, like I said, the guys from the local area. The Exiles are great as well. Also, the guys from the local area. 3.5 hours just to go to Colchester. Please try and make sure that's not on a Tuesday night. Or Barnet. Or Bristol Rovers. Appreciate it if it wasn't. But yeah, 3 hours and 34 minutes. That equates to at least 156 miles, which is nearly 300 miles back. So, nearly 400 miles in fact. Crawley, 216 miles is the minimum. 237 miles is the maximum for Crawley. That equates to a travel time of at least 4 hours and 17 minutes. We could do with a passport and travel this far there. But 4 hours and 17 minutes again to travel down maybe to London on a few occasions next season. If we go to the next one, it's Crawley. Sorry, I've said Crawley. It's Crewe. Apologise. That's 130 miles minimum. One way, obviously. 157 maximum. That will equate to 2 hours and 54 minutes. If you see me looking down, I am looking down at the figures in front of me. That's why I'm looking down, not always directly into the camera. But it would be 2 hours and 54 minutes. That would equate to get to Crewe. Not the worst travel, but again, nearly 3 hours in travel time. It's just to get there. That's a 6 hour round trip, really, to get to Crewe. And, take away, obviously, Portsmouth and Southampton and teams too far up north and too far down south. We don't have to do a lot of travelling. The next team, of course, is Fleetwood. We'll be going back there, obviously, twinning near Blackpool. That's a mileage between 162 and 168 miles. Roughly, that is a 3 hour travel time. I know that because I did that last season. Whether I'll be doing it this season, I don't know. But it'll be a 3 hour travel time. So equate that to 6 hours altogether travelling. 3 hours to get to Fleetwood. If we go to the next one, which is Gillingham, that's the minimum is 196 mile ride or drive if you decide to, or even travel by train. 224 miles is the maximum, and that equates to roughly 4 hour travel. So it'll be an 8 hour travel day roughly for anyone from the local area going to Gillingham. It's 4 hours. Let me just do that again. That is a lot of hours that down so far. I'm only halfway down the list. Only halfway down the list, and just hope that we don't have Gillingham on a Tuesday night for both clubs, really, because it is that is some trek. Next we have Harrogate. Here's where I find this confusing. Harrogate are not the nearest. Harrogate are 89 miles, but they are roughly the second closest team. 89 miles away, which equates to 1 hour and 48 minutes to get to Harrogate. Obviously, if you're travelling by car, it is obviously traffic depending. These are just rough guides, but 89 miles. So we've got two teams so far that are under 100 miles. Wow. But 1 hour 48 minutes to get to Weatherby Road. I have to say it's in a beautiful setting, Harrogate. It's a beautiful little town in the countryside, but 89 miles away, 1 hour and 48 minutes. Milton Keynes, we have to head back down there. The minimum mileage on that is 134. The maximum mileage on that is 151 miles, it equates to a 3 hour, give or take a couple of minutes, a 3 hour round trip. It's a 3 hour one way trip. So it's again a 6 hour round trip to get to MK Dons. Wow. Newport next after MK Dons. 224 is the minimum mileage. The maximum mileage is 246 miles away, mainly for the local area. Obviously, exiles will get to places sooner, but it is actually the longest, believe it or not, it's the longest trip from here. 4 hours and 13 minutes to get to Newport. Wowee. It's a, you know how people use it and say it's going to be a long season? It's going to be so long for Grimsby fans. Wow. When you see the figures in front of you and you hear the figures, you must be thinking, how far are we having to travel? These things, but 3 hours, give or take a couple of minutes, to get to MK Dons, and 4 hours and 13 minutes to get over to Wales to play Newport. Notts County mileage is actually the lowest. It's 74 miles, obviously about 78 miles in general. Obviously I've got family there, so I know roughly what the mileage is here. It's around about 90 minutes or so. They've got here, gave you 1 hour 57. I think that's specific to a place, but it's around about 1 hour 30 minutes. Just before Chesterfield. So you're looking at an hour and a half's trip there. That is actually the lowest, and that is the least that Grimsby fans will have to travel to next season. It's only 74 miles, which is only around about 150 miles each way. Both ways, not each way, both ways. Notts is the lowest, 1 hour 57. That's being specific, but I'll tell you, you could do it in an hour and a half to get to Notts County. Oldham, between 109 and 110 miles, but it will take you 2 hours and 3 minutes. So, just short of Nottingham, really, but the other side, about 2 hours to get to Oldham. The reason why I want to combine these two, it's Salford, which is only 115 to 120 miles, 2 hours and 12 minutes. So there literally is only 10 miles between Oldham and Salford, because obviously it's in the Greater Manchester area. Again, not too bad a trip. Obviously, not too bad trips, but it depends on how spaced out the fixtures are. If you look at Shrewsbury Town next, or Shrewsbury as I say, you say Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, but I'll say it right for the Shrews in this occasion. It's 160 miles minimum, 177 maximum. That equates to a 3 hour, again, another 3 hour round trip to go to Shrewsbury. Ready for another long one? Swindon. And obviously, if all you fans have done this, you know what the travel distance is, but it's just showing you how many miles that town will have to put in next season. Swindon minimum is 185 miles. The maximum distance, again, if you're driving it, is 226. That equates to nearly a 4 hour trip, which is an 8 hour round trip minimum when you travel to Swindon. Ouch. Tranmere. 151 miles minimum, 157 miles maximum. That equates to a 3-hour round trip. Round trip, I keep saying round trip and it's not. 3-hour trip one way, so it's a 6-hour round trip. Again, not a bad trip, Tranmere, but 3 hours, just to get to the game. And Walsall, the biggest bottle jobs in EFL history, I will call them that. I think everyone does at the minute. But Walsall, the minimum is 142 is the minimum mileage. 151 miles is the maximum. And I've given you 2 times for this. It's 3 hours as well to do Walsall. Now I know that our fans will literally travel in their numbers. They'll get there by train, they'll get there by car, they'll stay over. Some they'll have to, because it is going to be a long travel season for Grimsby Town next season. Our closest game technically is Notts County, and that's roughly 78 miles away from here. And it's a lot of travelling, which I know that our fans will do, and they will do with pride. But I just wanted to give you a rough idea from Grimsby, if you're travelling from the local area, the mileage or the miles that we'll have to travel to get to these grounds. And this is why, like I said, negating Portsmouth or Southampton or Newcastle or that lot, for where we are in the country, we have basically three grounds that take less than 2 hours to get to this season. The rest are 2 hours and up, which is going to test a few supporters. Of course it is. It could even test me as a fan as well, because there's a lot of mileage to be done there. But like I say, I know that we've got one of the best fan bases in the country. I'm sure we'll be taking at least 300 to 600 fans. Even on Tuesday night, we'll probably reach about 300-400 fans that go. They will be exiles, I'm sure. A lot of them are types of like Gillingham and Crawley and that sort of lot. But it is going to be a long trek for a lot of us fans to do. Leave down below what you think about the travel distances and where you'd be travelling from. You don't have to give the exact place, but where you'd be travelling from. Are you travelling from the Lincolnshire area, or are you an exile, which will make some grounds will be a lot easier to get to than others. I'd like to know. I've literally picked out possibly easily 3, but that would probably be about it. Easily. I'll obviously try and get to more if I can, but I'd like to know your thoughts on how you think the travel is going to do, and again, will that put you off travelling? Hopefully not, but let me know down below. They are basically the travel from the local area to each ground. Obviously consider the travel time back as well, because whatever I've said, it's that back as well. minimum. So, it's going to be a long travel season for Grimsby. Let me know down below what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I just thought I'd add this extra video for you all, and leave me your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, as I've just said. And I'm now going to go for a little bit of a break, unless any transfers break this week. I'll be back for something like that, or anything significant. In the meantime, guys, up the Mariners, and I suppose we better get playing our roots, haven't we, really? I'll see you guys soon. Up the Mariners, and here we go. I'll see you guys soon. Ta-da. Up the Mariners, up the Mariners. We're gonna drive miles again. I had to. I'll see you soon.